So first, before I introduce myself or announce anything, I wanted to thank Andrea and the Loyola University Alumni Association for inviting me. It's an honor and privilege to be here, and I'm looking forward to a workshop today. So thank you, Andrea, for putting it together.
Thank you for coming.
So my name is David Kaiser. I'm an executive coach, which the sort of formal part of me wants to say it's sort of like very applied business psychology. And the more playful side of me wants to say it's just like that guy in the King's Speech who helped Prince become a good public speaker. It's like that only for leadership and helping my clients become extraordinary. So that's what I do. And part of being extraordinary is helping people find great jobs. One thing I have found is that, sadly, at a time when the skill is more needed than ever because of layoffs, reorganizations, restructuring, bankruptcies of companies, most people don't actually know how to get a job. Worse yet, they think they do. They think you create a resume, you put a bunch of action verbs on it, and you list out your accomplishments, and you use that format, and you just fire those off to Career Builder or Indeed or Monster, or you send them to the HR department of the company that somebody will reach out, call you in for an interview, and you'll get a job. Sadly, that is a very low payoff strategy. And it only works even then when you're doing something pretty close to what you were doing before. So if you're an accounting manager and you want to be an accounting manager, that strategy will occasionally work. If you're an accounting manager, you want to be a salesman, you want to be an educational administrator, not so much, because people don't connect the dots. So everybody hates resume. I know I do. It's like justifying myself, putting all of my talent and accomplishments onto like 2 pages, sitting there in the basement, grinding away on your computer, trying to find the best action verbs and best ways to describe your accomplishments. 2 pages, really? For most of us who are pretty interesting people, that's impossible. And I'll tell you a secret too, recruiters hate resumes too. Why? Because every position they'll see hundreds, maybe thousands. Most of them are full of exaggerations, lies, misrepresentations. Even the good ones are often just irrelevant. They're applying for the wrong type of position. And worse yet, they're just not predictive of work performance. Very, very low. But this is the system that we think we have. You've got to work with the resume, you've got to have one, it's got to be pretty. And then God forbid you have a typo. Right. So the brilliant person that you are, if there's a typo or you misspell something, now you're disqualified. How many of us know really talented people with bad spelling? Yeah, those people need jobs too. In fact, there are great jobs for those people. All right? They shouldn't be disqualified. None of us should. So what I want to suggest is that extraordinary people don't have resumes. Think of the amazing people that you know. Mark Zuckerberg, Eli Manning, Donald Trump, Oprah, Taylor Swift. Do you think these people have resumes? Not so much. Why? Their work is known, and they are known. They're memorable, they're known, and their work speaks for itself. Now, most of us are not operating on the level of a Mark Zuckerberg or an Oprah. They're not. So you don't have to be as well known or as big a deal. But showing your work product, being known, being memorable within the sandbox that you do play in, that's what gets you jobs. Good jobs, jobs that are a good fit for you, not jobs that you have to force fit yourself into. So, all right, if you take nothing else away from our talk today, get this. Cranking out resumes and sending them to Career Builder is a complete waste of time. It feels good. No, it doesn't feel good. It feels useful. It feels like you're doing something, but you're really running on the hamster wheel. very tiring, no results. We want to get away from that. What we do want for you, so you can find that job where you can serve your people, doing your gifts, enjoying it, getting the most out of it, and really making a big contribution and being rewarded for it. The trick is to use your talents to do your thing publicly and memorably. We're going to talk in more detail about what that means today, how you do that, how you get there. So, first, how does this work? Well, here are the core principles, and these are on the handout that you've got. So at the high level, be yourself. On the one hand, it may sound easy. On the other hand, it may sound scary. It may run counter to what many of us were taught. Many of us were taught to fit in, dress like everyone else, talk like everyone else, pretend you're like everyone else. And at 1950s GM, that might have been a good idea, but it's not 1950s GM anymore. They're not handing out 30-year careers. You need to be memorable. If you're just like everybody else, you are by definition not memorable. You're just like everybody else. All right? Not to mention, if you are yourself, you'll get something you want, something that's a good fit for you. And no one is better at being you than you are. No one can compete with you at being you. You actually have a competitive advantage there. Okay. Know what you want. Know what you want. It may sound simple. You'd be surprised how many people don't get it. Have a clear target. So if we look at some of the truly extraordinary people in the world, they knew where they were going. Michael Jordan knew he wanted to be a basketball player. He didn't go for corporate jobs because that's not what he wanted. He wanted to be a basketball player. He had a clear target. We'll help you get a clear target too. You'd be surprised how many people I ask, what kind of job are you looking for? And they're like, something in sales. And they just leave it at that. Like as if anything in sales could do. Between like selling shoes at the store and selling aircraft for Boeing. You may think you're keeping your options open. You are, but you're not being helpful to the people who want to help you. Be creative. And I know some people sort of bristle when they hear this word. And I'm not talking about like artist level of creative, although some of us like that. Just a certain amount of figure out where you need to go, set a plan, follow it through, create the plan. There is no checklist here. No checklist for being extraordinary, for being memorable. There's some overall principles, and I'm going to work with a bunch of you later today to figure out what that looks like for you so the whole group can see how that looks like. But there is no checklist. If there was, everybody would do it, and then again, it would not be memorable, it would be commonplace. Show initiative. This is memorable. Most people are very reactive. They throw resumes around, they go to networking events, and they say, hey, I'm looking for this kind of job. And at the end of the day, they just come home, they get tired, and watch TV, don't do much. Creating a plan to get the job that you really want is going to take a certain amount of initiative. Setting a timeline, sticking to it, evaluating what's working and what's not. And part of that is taking risks. So if you don't take risks, if you don't risk failure, you don't risk succeeding either. I'll even suggest that if you have the proper mindset, there's no such thing as failure. You do something, you either get what you intended, you get what you wanted, or you learn something and you get some valuable experience along the way. I love the Michael Jordan quote here on the handout. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career, lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take a game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So this is a big point. I want you to take away from this, take risks, try new things, call people you don't know, invite them out for coffee, create something new, come up with a plan, ask to volunteer, ask to meet people, try a new skill. It may fail in that you don't get the intended response, it may even hurt. And if you keep going, that's the path to success. All right. So, there's some common themes in all the things that I'm talking about. One is anybody can do it, but few people do. None of the things that I'm telling you about are things that are completely beyond your ability. It's just a matter of bringing intention and clarity and passion to something you've already got. We've all got talent. We've all got experience, strength, skills. We all do. We all have stuff we're great at. We all have superpowers. But most of us don't lean into it. Most of us don't really let that shine. So anybody can do it, most people don't. You are creating something that doesn't already exist. Whether you're going to write a white paper and circulate it, teach a workshop, create an app, help someone design a website, edit a book, volunteer somewhere, you're doing something new. That's creative, that's generative. That's very doable, but most people don't do it. You're willing to take risks and be memorable. Again, most people aren't. Most people just want the safety that comes from being part of the herd. But being part of the herd doesn't work anymore. If you are interchangeable with the 10 other people in your department, you're now competing on price. Worse yet, you're competing on price with someone in a developing country who will work for a third of what you will work for, or 10. Don't compete on price. Compete on who you are and what you're good at. Take risks. Do what you love. And be willing to stand out and be memorable. Be known as the guy who does this, the gal who does that, the one who knows this stuff, the expert on this and such. Now you're memorable. People remember you. And it can be big stuff like your knowledge, or it can just be silly stuff, like a certain color you wear. I'm wearing bowling shoes right now. Yeah, you notice, right? You know, I'm wearing bowling shoes. I don't even know why. It just struck me on the way out the door that I wanted to wear bowling shoes. But love it or hate it, and I'm sure some of you hate it, it's memorable. Now I'm the speaker with bowling shoes. You remember me. All right. And lastly, you're giving something away for free. All right? Again, this is different, this is memorable. You're giving away something that you like. So if you're going to volunteer, don't just volunteer at some place where you should or where there's nice people. Volunteer doing something that you love doing, something you want to learn, something you're good at, something that if people see you doing it, they're going to go, wow, you're good at that, you like that. We need people like you at our organization. So one of the best metaphors that I've got around this piece is so many of us will, it's like we're standing in front of the fireplace saying, as soon as you start to burn hotter, I'll give you more wood. You sit there and stare at the fireplace as long as you want to, and it's not going to burn hotter unless you give it more wood first. That's the trick. Find out what you love, if you don't already know. Go do it. Go do it in a visible and memorable way. You'll be giving away your talent. You'll be making connections. You'll be helping people. You'll be improving your skills. Because working on a resume in the basement does not improve your skills. In fact, your skills are degrading because you're not using them. But going out and doing your skill, talking about your knowledge and your expertise, increases it. And people can tell when you're into something. When I started coaching at the Career Transition Center in Chicago a few years back, I had a lot of raw talent, a lot of passion, and I'd taken 2 days worth of coursework on how to be an executive coach. Not much. But they weren't paying me. They needed people. And I just had a goofy glow about me. And they're like, okay, we'll take a risk on you. And it's been an absolutely wonderful experience. I'm here today because I'm associated with the Career Transition Center. And I've been volunteering there. I love it. I met some amazing, wonderful people, some of whom are in the room today. So give it away, it will come back. And again, that makes you different from most of the people out there looking for jobs. Most of them are all, gimme, 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 what you got, I need a job, do you have a job, do you have a job, do you have a job? That is not memorable, that's commonplace, and it's icky. But if you're looking to serve, here's what I do. I love doing it so much, I do it for free. Let me come to your organization and do it. If your small business needs a website, I'll build you one. If you need tax planning for your business, I'll come do it, for half what somebody else would. All I ask is give me the opportunity to do it, maybe tell some friends. So do what you do best. All right, now we're going to get into some detail here. So first, on the handout, and so second page. And this is going to be very interactive. We're kind of done with the day yakking part of the workshop today. Here on out, I'm going to be talking a little, and you're going to be talking a lot, and I'm just going to be guiding this. And I want you to fill these things out. Take this stuff away so that it's useful for you. So at the very top of this second page, be yourself. A couple questions here. What is unique about you? And when I say unique, I mean like unique. Like not many people in the world, maybe even no one in the world, does this or does it the same way you do. So don't say, I'm a problem solver. We're all problem solvers. Don't say, I build relationships. We all build relationships. What problems do you solve? What particular problems? Or maybe who do you solve them for that's different? I mean, really, go for unique, meaning one of a kind. So what is unique about you? What do you love to do? Who are your people? Who do you love working for, working with? And what are your quirks? Again, what's unique about you? So I love dressing up. This is what I do. I love it. This is part of me. I have more shoes than most men, including bowling shoes. I have custom-made suits. I love them. That's me. I've been told by bosses, you need to tone it down and look like everybody else around here. Yeah, I have it. Yeah, it says the woman in the leopard skin. Yeah. Right. So, because you've heard it too, right? Right. Yeah. I've been told by bosses, okay, tone it down, look like everybody else around here. And I did. And I behaved, and I was acting like everybody else. And I got fired 3 months later anyway. Funny thing was, 2 months after that, he got fired too. So, bottom line is, no one is better at you than you. Don't force yourself to conform. Find where they like you. So, I'm going to shut up for a minute, and I want you to fill out the top portion of this with the questions, what is unique about you? Again, what is unique? What do you love to do? Who are your people? What are your quirks? What is memorable about you? So take a moment, go ahead and do that. If anyone has questions, or just one-on-one stuff, raise your hand, and I'll come talk to you. Otherwise, let's say 3 minutes, fill it out. Go. seconds. And wrap it up. And feel free to continue writing once we're debriefing in the group. Here's where the fun part of the workshop starts. People giggle. Yeah, okay. So who wants to be my first brave volunteer? I promise I don't bite. The question is, what makes you unique? And I need a brave volunteer. All right, yes? Please read, speak, whatever.
Okay, I said,
Yeah.
I'm sassy, sparkly, spunky. I love to organize, and I'm good at making random things work together. My people are the ones who love to laugh and entertain and are very social. And I met a lot of them from charity events. My quirks are that I'm compulsive and free, and a lot of times I get food. But I'm really good at bargain shopping.
Awesome. Okay. And what's your name?
Victoria.
Victoria. Okay. So, I can, do you mind if I read it out loud? Or do you want to have the mic? You can read it? All right. Victoria likes the mic. Let's see.
I'm sassy, sparkly, and spunky. I love to organize, and I'm good at making random things work together. For example, fur vest, brocade skirt, and vintage necklace. My people are the ones who love to laugh and entertain and are very social. I met a lot of them at charity events. My quirks are that I'm a compulsive clean freak, have no filter most of the times, and I'm really good at bargain shopping.
Okay. All right. Now, that's memorable, right? And the blue leopard print blouse is memorable. And her courage is memorable. She was the first volunteer. She didn't know how everybody was going to react. So I would say Victoria's pretty memorable. All right. Who wants to be our next brave volunteer?
I'll do it.
Yes, sir. Okay.
What's unique about me is I probably travel almost to every country in Europe. I've overcome a car accident driving and getting hit by a car walking. That's basically what's unique about me, that's memorable.
So just to repeat it sort of at the year, I heard been to almost every country in Europe and survived and overcame being hit by a car.
Walking and driving.
Walking and driving.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, twice or more. Yeah.
What I like to do is play and watch sports, practice and study the law, and obviously travel the world.
So sports, law, travel. Okay.
And my people have a sense of humor, personality, and it's okay to mess up. People don't freak out, mess up. You know, they let you learn from your mistakes.
So sense of humor, personality, and where like risk and mistakes are tolerated as long as you're learning, right? All right. What else?
My quirks are probably very sensitive. There's other things, but let's stay away.
Okay. Can I just push you to give us one little example?
I'm sorry?
One little example of some of those other things, if you're willing. And if you're not, that's cool.
I mean, I have a lot, so that's why I probably can't think of one.
Just choose one. If you're comfortable, if not.
No,
that's
I am comfortable. I just can't think of it because I have so
Okay.
many of them. So you never get that you have so many you can't think of it. I'm sorry. I can't think of it.
Fair enough. Okay. If you think of it later and you want to share, great. If not, thank you very much. I appreciate your courage and willing to share that with us. So, Joseph, right?
Yes.
Okay. Joseph is now memorable. He's survived a couple of car accidents, travels through Europe, likes sports, and his type of people have a sense of humor, personality, and they're willing to tolerate risk and failure. As long as you, they won't hold it against you as long as you keep growing, right? Something like that. All right, you got any idea who Joseph is? All right, I saw another hand. Yes, sir, John.
Adherence to rules. I believe that people should not be expected to automatically just change. It should not be done along the way. I'm demanding adherence to elevated schools because that's the name of the game in education. Children not to. And I don't know that testing is really a good indicator of the child's learning. I do not believe that punishment is an option prior to an attempt at change.
So I'm hearing a couple things. One is, it sounds like you believe that in the education environment, punishment should be the last resort, and there are lots of other levers. Depending. You think that testing is not the best way to evaluate learning. So there's other ways. You have high demands of your students and of your teachers. You expect a lot of them. Now, what I heard that sounded really interesting was that you're able to work with people around helping them want to change. It's very easy for people on the outside to say, you have to change and here's why. It's very different to actually help people to make that change themselves. It sounds like that's something you're good at. I'm willing to bet you are. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Nancy.
Nancy,
Okay, I'm a problem solver.
problem solving. Excellent. What kind of problems?
I'll solve them. I won't go over it. Problem.
By all means. Can you read it as loud as you
Oh, sure.
can, please?
I'm a problem solver with an intuitive.
As loud as you can.
Okay. I'm a problem solver with an intuitive ability to see the possibility in another person.
So I'm just going to repeat these so that the camera and everybody else can hear. So problem solver,
Yeah.
intuitive ability to see the possibilities in other people.
Yeah, who have a need to be in a better place in their life.
Who want to be in a better place in their lives.
And
Okay.
I have volunteered and would like to do more volunteering. I believe in volunteering.
Where do you volunteer? Fourth Presbyterian?
With a group out in
Okay.
Salute
So you volunteered for a group on returning vets. Okay. Yeah.
So I would be with fun, smart, creative, forward-thinking people who want to create change and who are not afraid of change and who are insightful and
So fun, smart, creative people who like change, actually want change.
exactly. They accept it. I've heard a lot in my life, oh, I've never thought of that. I'm an idea person.
An idea person. Okay.
It just comes all the time.
You get that? Nancy's an idea person. How many businesses need ideas? Right, like, yeah, almost all of them, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so you can see what's unique about another person. I make up that since you volunteer a lot, that you're a very generous and giving person. You can see the possibilities and things, and you like change and want to work with people, with other people like you who welcome change. Okay, tell us something really quirky or interesting about yourself. Yeah.
I'm a very competitive
Never
listener. And
touched
to
it.
school as an adult and played my college tennis.
Nice. Okay. So you went back to school as an adult and played college level tennis. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So you were out there competing with all the 18-year-olds, right?
Against
Yeah.
and winning.
And winning.
Yes.
There you go.
Division.
That's okay. That's pretty cool. Beating the 18-year-old kids at college tennis. That's memorable, right? If you have done this, you've gone back to school as an adult and played sports on that team, raise your hand. Okay. Yeah, again. Yeah, there's some people who wanted to. You're the one person in this room. That's memorable.
The
What do you
interesting
say?
thing is that it was in the newspaper, it was in Good Housekeeping. Crazy.
Newspaper, Good Housekeeping. Right, because that's memorable. 18-year-old kid playing sports in college, hundreds of thousands, millions of them. And you're back as an adult. That's memorable. Got it. Awesome. Let's see, maybe one or two more people? Yes.
Okay. My name is Christine, and I think that I have a unique ability to help people during times of very strange crises.
Very strange.
Yeah, so I've had some opportunities to, for the last 6 years, I was working at a large hospital in the city, and as they're open every day of the year, all day long, very strange things happen in hospitals, and there were times when I was on call to respond to these strange disasters, and I actually became known for when something very strange happened in the hospital, they would say, well, Christine must be on call, because many missing dead bodies, you'd be surprised, of unknown cause, not particularly floods, fires, just strange things, and I think approaching these things and thinking quickly on their feet and helping people through difficult times it's really taught me to do some interesting things. But I've been a hospice volunteer for 12 years, so also the dying side, helping people through those transitions. Sometimes that's been somewhat of a crisis for certain people. And for the last year, I was working for the city of Chicago, and during last year's blizzard, I drove up and down Lakeshore Drive in an SUV counting cars. So it's all to do strange things that other people either wouldn't want to do or haven't had a chance to do.
So there are some folks who say in a hospital do the normal stuff that everybody does.
Which I did most of the day.
Right, and that's necessary and good. And when the really weird stuff comes up, and find a dead body or they found one and don't know what to do with it,
Exactly.
you gotta call you.
Right.
All right. And you were driving up and down.
Traffic makes you career.
Well, clearly, but there are some people who like to deal with the familiar day in and day out. Again, that's great. And there are some people who are good at improvising when the unexpected happens. Like an enormous blizzard. Run-of-the-mill snow, we can handle. But cars abandoned on Lakeshore Drive? Yeah. Okay. And can you give us like one little quirk? Or just something interesting, something that you think is unique about you compared to everybody else in the room. 4 languages. Awesome. Which ones?
Swedish, German, French,
Swedish, German. Yeah, Swedish is just plain interesting. German, French, some Spanish. There you go. Okay. Swedish, German, French, some Spanish. That's unique. You can speak Swedish, French, German, and some Spanish. Raise your hand. All right. There you go. Yeah, that's unique. That's interesting. There may be a job that requires a Swedish speaker, and do you know how many people you'd be competing against? Not many. Right. So, your job may or may not involve Swedish, but if it ever does, I think it's yours, because none of us can speak it. So, but that's interesting. That's unique. It's memorable. And so, what's your name again? Christine. Okay. All right. Let me check time. We may have one more brave volunteer. Let's see.
Good. 20 to 1.
Yep. Okay. So, so on that note, we're actually going to move on to the next thing. All right. Also on the worksheet. So know what you want. So in general in life, this is a good idea. You're more likely to get what you're looking for if you know what it is. So think about when you go on vacation. You don't just take what they're giving. You don't walk into the travel agency and say, what's on sale? You want to go someplace. You want to go to Club Med. You want to go to Europe. You want to go to who knows what. But you know what you want. You want to go skiing. You want to lay on the beach. You want to go see art. Whatever. You have an idea, you're more likely to get it. Okay? Same thing with a job. What too many of us do is just say, what's out there? And then try to plug yourself into it. Oh, I can do that. Let me convince you I can do that. The downside is you end up convincing people that you can do that. You may or may not even want to. And then you're pushing, and you're selling, and it feels kind of icky. And it may not be a good fit anyway. Better to say, here's what I want. Tell as many people as you can. Help as many people as you can. Here's what I'm looking for. That way when it comes up, they know where to find you. Now, some people say, well, that's limiting myself. Yes, it is, but in a very helpful way. And it's limiting the search possibilities that other people have to go through to help you. This is basic branding 101. So if I tell you, what's Walmart's brand? Everyday low prices, right? Nordstrom's, amazing customer service. You go to Nordstrom's for super bargains? No. You go to Walmart for amazing service? No. It helps their customers and their suppliers know what the promise is. So, let me give you a couple of examples. These are real life examples, clients that I worked with a few years ago, both lawyers. I asked them both, what's your ideal job? First one, very intelligent lady, said, I'm just looking for a good legal job in the city, good benefits, good pay, downtown, good work-life balance. Now, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not that plugged into the legal world. That's not very specific. I can't help it. So I just kind of smiled politely and did nothing. There was nothing to work with. I had another client, again, lawyer. Well, what's your ideal job? And he said, I want to be a Cook County public defender. When I was a kid growing up in New York, there were kids in my neighborhood who got sent to jail for something they didn't do. I don't want to let that happen. I said, okay, I got it. First, he was clear on what he wanted, and he was clear on why. Now, the cool thing is, a guy that I went to college with is a Cook County public defender. Has been for 20 odd years. So, I just put them in touch. Here you go. I mean, really, I knew exactly what to do. I did it. And that connection was made. Because this gentleman was so specific that I could go, yes, I can help you. Done. Now, granted, it just happened that I know a Cook County public defender. He said, Paige, I wouldn't have been able to help him. But maybe I could put him in touch with my Cook County friend who might have a friend. But if you're not specific, you're making the other person work. And most of us are so busy and so stressed that we won't. So you help other people help you by being specific. Right? So in my coaching business, I can just say, I need more clients. And it looks like anybody who's in a career transition. And that's so broad. I mean, we're talking men, women, mid-career, new, retirement, specific niches, industries, who knows? It doesn't give you an idea of what I'm looking for. Now, if I tell you that one type of client that I like working with, it's going to sound funny, but this is the type of client I like working with, are very successful women executives who are tired of having to act like men at work and want something more authentic and feminine. About a third of my clients are like that. That's specific. Now you can think in your head, who do I know like that? By the way, I'd love to know. But most of you probably think you either know that person or you don't. As opposed to, oh, just someone in transition. We all know someone. But it's so vague, who cares? All right, so specific, very specific. Actually, here's an exercise I want to do right now. I need a brave volunteer. And I'm even going to ask for the volunteer before I tell you what you have to do. Who's my brave volunteer? Okay, excellent. Joseph, right?
Yes.
All right, so Joseph, tell us something that you want. Very, very, very specific. May or may not be job related. It might be, I'd like to meet a certain celebrity, or I'd like to get tickets to the World Series, or I don't know, something very specific. And we're going to see if somebody in the room can help you with that very specific thing. Go.
Right now, my mom and dad really can't afford to stay at the, I'm from New York, and they really can't afford to stay at the house, so I would love to be able to pay the mortgage.
Okay. Wow, okay, that is specific. So, okay. So Joseph was saying that his parents in New York
Yes.
are having trouble paying their mortgage, and he'd like to find a solution to that for them. Is there anybody here who may know resources for people who are having trouble paying their mortgage? Yes, ma'am.
I think
Speak up, please.
the Illinois Attorney General's office just put out a press release that they did a multi-state work with federal government also to help. They entered into a billion-dollar settlement with 5 major banks to help people who are facing foreclosure, who may need loan modifications, that kind of stuff. And you could read about it on the website.
Okay.
And I don't know if the state of New York is one of the states,
Okay.
but maybe.
But it's a lead.
Yeah.
And can I ask you a favor? And you can say no. Can I ask the two of you to maybe switch email or a phone number or something like that? And can you send that to this gentleman?
Sure.
Thank you. Did it feel good to help?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels good to
I
help.
hope New York is one of the states.
Yeah. I hope it is too. Even if it's not, maybe at least it starts a cascade of looking at this, looking at that, looking at something else that may lead somewhere.
Do you know if it's .gov or it's .gov?
It's IllinoisAttorneyGeneral.gov.
Okay.
And it's right on the home page where it says press releases.
And thank you for asking what you want. And that's a big one too. I mean, your parents' mortgage, I mean, I get it. One more brave volunteer, ask for something very specific. Yes, please.
I need a hearing aid, something to help me hear better.
Okay.
Without paying $1,000 or even $500, the most I can afford is $200.
Okay. So you need a hearing aid for like 200 or less?
Yes.
Okay. 1 or 2?
I'll try to get away with one of these days.
Okay. All right. So can anybody help with that? Anybody have any leads, resources, connections who may be able to help with a low? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think the Lions Club might do something with that. I work for our ENT ear, nose, and throat office, so and we sell hearing aids, and then the hearing aids we sell are at that price point that you can't really afford. But Lions Club, Extratoma has something with hearing,
Okay.
and then there's something on Clybourne. It's like Chicago hearing something. I can find that out. But
Okay. And again, yeah.
Okay. Lions Club.
And same thing, can I ask you to exchange contact information, and if you could get the names of those organizations or programs, this lady, that'd be wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Okay. My pleasure. So you get enough people in a room, and you start finding you have all these sorts of resources. And if you're specific enough, then people know how to help you. And more often than not, people are willing to and want to help. Let me give you a silly request. I would love to be an extra in a science fiction show or movie. Can anybody help me out with that? Yes. Okay. And can I get a card from you after the thing? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yeah. And you see, it's not a magic bullet, but it's the next step that we need to take. So maybe I'll call this gentleman's friend, and he'll say, do this, and I'll do that. And then the next step will do, the next step will do. So be very specific what you ask for. People want to help. Okay, so the next exercise we're going to do is we're just going to start with your ideal job. And when I say ideal job, it's the job you really want, not the job you can do, not the job you have done, not the job you think you should have, or your parents or friends or spouse says you should have. The job you really want. Okay? And we're going to define it with 4 criteria. And you'll have a few minutes to work on this in silence, and then we'll ask for a couple brave volunteers again. So don't tell me titles. What I want to hear is 4 things. Tasks. What are you doing? Taking phone calls, selling things, leading meetings, leading a team, writing, analyzing, whatever that may be. The actual stuff you do. What would your to-do list look like for this job that you really love? Second piece, environment. What is the physical, organizational environment? Big company, small company, downtown, suburbs, nonprofit, academia. And the physical environment. Office, cube, do you work out of your car, out of your house? Do you have a plant? Is it sunny? Things like that. Meaning. Aside from paycheck, what keeps you coming back to this job? Now, a doctor would say saving lives, right? You know, a policeman might say keeping the streets safe. Aside from the paycheck, what keeps you doing this job? Meaning. Last, people. What's your boss like? Is he or she very detail-oriented, hands-on? Does he or she give you a lot of freedom? He or she's in a different state. Good mentor, supportive, demanding. You tell me, what are your peers like? If people report to you, what are they like? Your internal or external customers, what are they like? What's the culture? Professional, creative, dynamic, stable, friendly, competitive. You tell me. So those four things spell out temp, T-E-M-P, task, environment, meaning, people. And what we're actually doing is creating a template, that's my T2 acronym, that you can then use to hold up the different jobs. So first you could say, here's what I'm looking for, help me find it. And then as things start coming your way, you have this template, and you can hold it up to jobs and see, does it fit? This fits, this does not, this does, yay. And then you don't apply for the things that don't fit. You put extra effort into the things that do. So I'm going to shut up for about 3 minutes, which is a lot, right? And let you work on this. Tasks, environment, meaning, people. Again, be as specific as you can be, and we'll debrief in a few. All right, let's take maybe 30 more seconds and wrap things up. Who wants to be my brave volunteer? And all right away. So tell us about what your ideal job would be. Tasks, environment, meeting people.
First thing I want to say is I really, when I try to come up with like a name for the job or something, I do draw blank. But this exercise really helped me kind of articulate, made me feel like I do know what I want. I just don't know what it's called.
Okay. And you might have to find out what that title is by looking around and doing some research, but now you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, well tell us what it is.
Okay, so the T is doing research and drawing conclusions, writing and presenting.
Okay.
In terms of environment, small, organization, preferably downtown. And here's where that I don't really know part comes in. Could be a nonprofit, could be government, could be academic. And in terms of meaning, involved in social issues or public policy. That's where the meaning comes from. And being able to be part of that, discourse. And then in terms of the people, creative, dynamic, supportive, and welcoming.
Okay. Creative, dynamic, supportive, and welcoming. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Did everybody hear that? No. Okay. Yeah, just ask me to do it one more time.
Okay. And then like
Yes.
Okay, the T are the tasks. Doing research, drawing conclusions from that research, and then writing and presenting what I pull together. In terms of environment, something small, preferably downtown. And as I had prefaced this by saying, not sure, but this exercise helped me feel like I knew what I wanted. So here's where the not sure or don't know part comes in. It could be nonprofit, it could be government, or it could be academia. In terms of meaning, the meaning for me is being involved in social issues and public policy in some form or fashion. And then in terms of people, creative, dynamic, supportive, and wonky.
Okay. All right. So fairly straightforward. May not have a title to go with that yet, or even a name of an organization, but it's starting to become a clearer picture. So what I'll suggest is if anybody knows titles, job titles, places that are like that, so after the workshop, come and see Rita. I'm sure she'd appreciate your help. Okay, one more brave volunteer. All right.
My name's Kate.
Okay. Since you're away from the microphone, I'm just going to repeat what you say. So say it nice and loud.
Sports marketing.
Sports marketing. Okay.
And my tasks would be creating campaigns, selling ad space, planning events, and interacting with the team.
Okay. So creating campaigns, selling ad space, planning events, marketing events with the team. Okay.
The environment, relaxed, fun, creative.
Okay. Environment, relaxed, fun, creative. Okay.
Meaning, promoting a team and a sport that I am passionate about and enjoying going to work every day.
Okay. So promoting a team and sports you're passionate about and enjoying going to work. And if I can ask, is there maybe one or two sports in particular that you like?
Baseball or football.
Baseball and football. Okay. All right. And then ask, what do you like about baseball and football?
I'm a big college football fan.
Okay.
And then I've always loved baseball.
Okay. Got it. All right, and then
people
yeah.
would be fun-loving sports fans and creative thinkers.
Fun-loving sports fans, creative thinkers. So I imagine you and Joseph could actually have a good conversation. You might know people who could help the other. It sounds like you're looking for very similar things.
Sports marketing is mine.
Sports marketing is what?
Sports marketing is mine.
Is your idea? Okay. So I'd say have a conversation because you might be looking for similar but not the same, and you can help each other out. If you want to. but now you've got some resources you didn't have when you walked through the door, I assume. Did you know each other? There you go. Okay. All right. Actually, let's throw one more person. Yes. Okay.
My name is Sonia Rosa. Tasks.
Yeah.
I imagine it involving a lot of research and reading.
Research and reading.
Analyzing conclusions. I guess I should preface it with I want to work in an environment where we analyze like how people interact with building things, or maybe urban.
Got it. So urban planning, perhaps, how people interact with built environments. Okay.
Public space, like
Public space.
walking trails or plazas or sidewalk and street.
Okay.
I want to be able to go out to the sites and sort of survey myself, experience, and talk to people who are currently using it.
So talking to people who are using the site, going out there and experiencing it. So this is not a pure desk job for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
And I guess like that just has a lot to do with like a little bit of a social conscience in that these are like quality of life issues for all of humanity, not just the other side. So I guess like people are
Got it. So this affects how everybody experiences the city or that area, creates quality of life for everybody. Again, not just the 1%, right? Okay. What else?
that was the meeting, was we voted back. And I guess I said my environment is sort of like a, I don't know, it could be big or a small space.
You have a preference? Big or small?
No. I wrote in an office, in the public sphere, and wanted the sharing knowledge.
Got it. So sharing knowledge, getting feedback, web presence, sharing a lot of what's going on for you. Okay. And what are the people like?
Dynamic. We have like weird niche knowledge.
Dynamic, kind of quirky, niche. Got it. Okay. Okay. I like the blue fingernails too. It's very cool. Yeah. Again, memorable. So people might remember you as, the person who's into, designing an environment to make a nice cityscape. They might also remember you as, the girl with the blue fingernails, and hopefully both, because now it's memorable. All right. Okay. All right. So, for the rest of you, we're not going to have time to debrief with everybody, but you're getting a clear target of what you're looking for and how to articulate it. What I'll suggest is taking that list that you created here and just sharing it with as many people as possible. You may find that there are people who lots of people have one piece of the puzzle, and if you talk to enough of them, you start getting the puzzle into shape, and then you've got a clear picture. But you have to talk to lots of people, because the puzzle pieces are all over the place. You now know, or have a good idea from here, what the puzzle looks like. Now you get to go find it. All right, the last item for today, and then we're going to have Q&A at the end for those who want to stick around, and that is gaining visibility. We've talked about what it means to be yourself, who you are, what's unique, what's interesting about you, what you want, specifically in a job environment. Next. Okay, so the get a job without a resume piece is so much about serving publicly, giving your skill, using your skills, your knowledge, your passion publicly, visibly. All right? So first, let's do this fairly quickly. On the next section, out the handout, it says name 3 topics where you have expertise. Now this may be work-related. So perhaps for Sonia, it might be something about traffic flow. What works and what doesn't work in traffic flow. That might be it. For Christine, it might be the random ways that dead bodies appear in a hospital, other than the usual. Right? For Victoria, it might be great places to go bargain hunting. For Joseph, it might be sports marketing, attendance at minor league versus major league games, or the different types of companies that sponsor different types of sports.
Both are boring.
What's that? Baltimore?
No, I said both or both.
Both
Both are boring.
are boring?
Yeah, major and minor league baseball.
Got it, okay. So, all right.
Bad joke, and no one got
Hey,
it, so.
you got opinions, that's good. Anyway, so take a moment, write down 3 areas, work or personal, where you have expertise. Okay? Now, the ways of sharing your expertise are very likely going to depend on what it is. So there's no simple checklist of how to do this publicly, help people in a way that is visible and public and could lead to getting it done. And we're going to talk some basic ideas, and then you can elaborate them on your own. So, a couple people, what are areas of your expertise? Yes? So creating training manuals, creating PowerPoint presentations. Okay. So first, if anyone needs training materials for PowerPoint, this lady can help you. Yes, sir. So community and business, creating community and business involvement, creating academic achievement. What was the first one? Vision for the school. Awesome. Okay. Let's get something from this table. I'll be kind of quiet. Who's our great volunteer back there? What's that area of expertise for you both? Yes, sir.
Road safety.
Road safety?
Road safety, yeah.
Okay.
And employee safety.
Employee safety.
It's due to my background in development, family business, and I've been for the next 6 weeks.
Okay. All right, so employee safety, road safety. All right, these are areas of expertise. Awesome. Yes? Creating powerful and cover letters and resume. Okay, so you're here to pick on me.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Nonetheless, there's a place for that too. Creating powerful cover letters and resumes. Thank you. Okay. So if what I'm giving you is not helpful, go see her. Someone over here. Yes.
Therapists volunteer in, what was tennis.
Okay. So tennis.
I teach tennis. I know how to get people involved in situations.
Okay. So you teach tennis. You can get people into good volunteer gigs, and you're a therapist. Any particular type of client?
With therapy?
Yeah.
Adults, teens, couples.
Okay.
Variety.
Okay. What's your favorite type of client? Couples. Okay. Any particular issue or struggle?
Infidelity.
Okay.
Sexual dysfunction.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. So we now have a very clear idea of who our ideal clients are. Couples struggling with infidelity or sexual dysfunction. All right. Okay. Thank you. These are areas of expertise for all of us. Now, one way to get attention for yourself, to get recognition that will lead to a job, is to share this knowledge in a variety of ways. So what are some of these ways? Writing in all sorts of formats. Starting a blog. Posting on places like LinkedIn groups, even on your Facebook page, or get a Twitter account. Write up an article, or an article 2-3 page white paper, your experiences with a certain topic, and you can post it there for people to look at. There are places like Yahoo Answers, eHow, LinkedIn groups, where you can ask and answer questions on your topic. So I don't know this, but I'm willing to bet that there is probably on LinkedIn a group dedicated to therapists. There's probably even one dedicated to couples. There's probably even one dedicated to infidelity. And if not, you could create one. So, yes? Yeah. Okay, so there's no cost. Yeah. Yeah. So what I'll suggest is there's no cost associated with getting into a LinkedIn group. The basic membership is free. Now you can pay for an additional LinkedIn. So, okay. So what I'll suggest, and if you want to talk to me afterwards, that'd be great. If not, there are people I'm sure in the room or in your life who know LinkedIn well and can get you set up with a free membership. Because there's a free membership to LinkedIn that you can use. Yeah. Yeah, we use groups. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, with LinkedIn, you can use the free service, which allows you a certain amount of services and activities, and you can pay for the premium that allows you certain extra activities and access. But the basic is free. Because you can use LinkedIn, Yahoo Answers, eHow, and then there are, of course, different websites for specific communities. And you can get status as a contributor there. You ask, you answer questions. In the IT world, there are whole forums dedicated to specific coding languages, HTML, Java, Ruby, whatever, and people gain status by solving other people's problems for them. Right? I can't make this thing work. Someone says, here's how you do it. Your status in the community just goes, ding. You do that enough, and you're now expert. Yes?
How accurate are these eHow and answers? Is it like a Wikipedia where anyone can hack and make up answers, or how
typically, I mean, there's a certain amount that you have to be able to build this stuff. So typically, it's even less controlled than Wikipedia, where someone can say, how do you replace a faucet? And half the answers may be complete nonsense. And there might be the right answer in there too, and maybe that means they need you to provide the right answer. So buyer beware. Don't take everything at face value. And it's a great, especially if you're seeing that, that means they need you to contribute and show the proper way to do things. There was a hand up? Yes.
How do you make the connection between doing all of these things and telling people you're looking for a job?
Excellent point. So what you want to do is you want to make sure people can find you. So if you create your LinkedIn profile, you can have at the top of it, whatever your job is, whatever your job you want it to be. So let's say it is HR generalist. Put HR generalist in transition. You can write an article or ask a question on a specific topic, and then you've provided some value just by asking a question or answering a question, and then you can make a note at the bottom. So someone says, how does this and such affect payroll law in Illinois? Blah, 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 your answer. And then at the bottom, my name is Dave, I'm an HR generalist with 10 years of experience. I'm looking for a position at a hospitality company, blah, 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 blah. Just a little note at the bottom. Ask for what you want. To some extent, if you're doing enough of these things, people will just start to know that by the way you interact, by the things that you say. They're going to even know if you're looking for a job that they might offer you one or ask, or just you start conversations. So people might ask, oh, how did you learn about payroll law in Illinois? Well, I worked at a company, blah, blah, blah. It went bankrupt. I'm now looking. Oh, okay. Well, you still establish some expertise and some credibility. And I'll suggest look for the places that are not just populated by other job seekers. So there are sometimes events or online forums where everybody's looking for a job. That's okay. You can still help each other out. You can still establish an expertise and a brand. And you want to make sure that you also are working with people who have jobs, who are plugged in, who have work, and you want to create value with them as well. So, writing. Let me suggest some ideas. Everybody has expertise, whether you know it or not. Think of an article you can write. 5 biggest problems with X. The real problem with X. The 5 best ways to do something. The 3 hidden opportunities in X. Or even just, here's my experience with employee safety. The 3 things people are overlooking, or the 5 best things you can do to lower injury rates on the job. Everybody has expertise. That can become a blog post, it can become an article that you post at Yahoo Answers. You can even just write it up on like a Word document, put your name, contact information on it, circulate it around everybody. It establishes your expertise. If you meet people at an event, you can say, hey, I'm an expert on this, and they send you a whiteboard. 2-3 pages. There you go. Or a podcast. You can do public speaking. There are tons of places, chambers of commerce, professional associations, who need some sort of expertise on some topic of interest to you. So you want to find places that are interested in the same things as you. So if you are that HR manager, you want to go to the HR group. Give a talk on payroll taxes, or on employee benefits, or on the right way to fire a troublesome employee. Whatever your specific area of expertise and interest is. If you know people who teach courses, offer to be a guest lecturer for the course, or team teach with them. If you have the opportunity and the access, teach that course yourself. Go to a local community college or a place like Loyola or DePaul or someplace. I can teach a course in employee communications, in international tax law. Now, there will be dead ends and things that don't lead anywhere or don't lead anywhere right away. And it's a numbers game. If you do enough of that stuff, then enough will come through. You can volunteer using your skill. You can use your skill on a contractor consulting basis for small businesses. So again, if your thing is IT, you can help create a website or help integrate the servers for a friend's small business. Maybe for free, maybe for a nominal charge. You can create an app. If you're an HR person, maybe you help a friend who has a business write an employee manual for their business. They probably couldn't afford to pay some fancy HR consulting firm $20,000 to do this. Maybe they could pay you $2,000. Or maybe you just do it for free, but then you've got work product you can show. I created this employee manual for XYZ dry cleaning corp. Look at that. And then they can look at it and see if it's good or not. Either way, you're not telling them about what you can do on a resume. You're showing them what you did in a work product. So bottom line is just look for ways to use your skill. Not talk about it, but actually use it. It's kind of as specific as I can get at that level. What I'd like to do is get maybe a couple of volunteers at this point and say, what's your skill? Let's find very visible ways that you can use it that might attract attention for your next job. So who's our next brave volunteer? Everyone's looking at their feet. Yes?
I would say writing and research.
Okay.
I also enjoy interviewing people and traveling to different establishments. So what I'm seeking to do is to work as a freelance writer.
Okay.
While I'm looking for steady money. But I think that would be good.
Okay, so freelance writing. I heard you'd like to interview people. Okay. Well, the great news is, on the one hand, this is one of the greatest times to be a writer because it's easy to get your stuff out. The downside is it can be hard to pay for it.
That's the downside.
Right. Okay. So what are some topics that interest you?
Well, right now I'm working with a news magazine that's dedicated to video industry professionals.
Mhm.
So the target market, I guess you could say, for that are like hairstylists, barbers, and nail technicians. I visit different salons and utilize their services to see, if they want me to do a write-up on their salon,
Mhm.
and feature them, and they can also advertise if they choose.
So that almost sounds like it might be a great way to get free
That's what
salon
it is.
services. There you go, good for you. Okay, yeah, so you can go to the salon, get your nails done, or your haircut, or get some other service done, write it up, and that can go in a magazine as, here what's going on at this new place, or here are new trends in this market. So what I'll suggest is, you think of like 10 article titles. I'll even suggest have that done by the end of the day today, by 5 o'clock. Have 10 article titles. Work on them as you're, as you're able. And then, let's see, so where's some venues where you could publish that? So I'm sure you know some magazines, some news magazines. There are surely some associations, forums, blogs. What's that? Yeah, places in your community, even if it ends up being, church newsletter or Chamber of Commerce, yeah, or an association. I mean, there must be like an association of beauty industry professionals or something like that. They might have a newsletter for that. And then stuff like, look at like eHow. There might be places, or Yahoo Answers, where you could post some of your conclusions, some of your expertise, some of your opinions. People will start, ask and answer questions. All right, thank you. Yes. Yes, please. Yeah.
Since you're doing like beauty form, you send it to Refinery 29 as a beauty center.
Refinery 29. Okay, so there's an option for you.
And then the other one would be Alumni, the Yellow Pages. They always have comments if you post it there, and they put it to your website.
Yeah. Even things like Yelp. If you start commenting a lot, yeah, you become one of our guest experts on Yelp. And now you're not just some person with an opinion. You are the person with lots of opinions. And you become the go-to person for your particular service or your particular neighborhood, and you get the idea.
Thank you.
Okay. Another brave volunteer. Yes.
What I do is teach and learn.
Teach and learn, okay.
Administration,
Okay.
education.
Okay.
Right now, I would love to have a position helping directors connect themselves with the teaching course and their regular staff, early childhood education.
Got it. So getting directors in touch with the staff at early childhood education. You've got opinions on this topic, right?
I am actually done with my coursework.
Okay.
My doctorate.
Wonderful.
In teaching leadership.
Okay.
So hopefully, I'll be able to finish it by getting these connections.
Okay. So I'll offer a couple opportunities for you. So one might be, I'm guessing that if you're starting a doctoral program, or starting with the writing phase, that you're probably a good writer.
Okay.
I'll suggest come up with a couple of 1-, 2-, and 3-page topics and write those up. You can submit them to the NEA websites in your field. There are associations of early childhood learning. There might be columnists. Diane Ravitch, maybe, because she writes on education policy. I'm sure you know people too. Send them your papers. Or if you have a topic you want to talk about, look for opportunities to speak on that topic. Maybe 5 things that directors need to know about their frontline staff. Something like that. You get the idea. So I'll challenge you to work on that. Yes? Thank you. Okay. All right. So That said, I think it's just about time to wrap up the workshop portion of this, and then I'll be available for public Q&A. If people want to see me afterwards, that's wonderful too. Bottom line is, find ways to use your skills visibly. Help people by using your skills. Again, it's going to depend on what your skills are. Writing, creating a website, or creating an employee manual for someone, using your skills. Helping other people sell their products. Whatever your skills may have to be. And if you have to do it for free, so be it. In order to get experience, work product, relationships. You get the idea. Okay, I'm done. What questions do we have? Last questions. Questions? Okay. Yes, please. Oh, I can talk about it.
Did you know there's an online newspaper called Examiner?
Yes.
They pay you in 1 year.
Yeah, so the Examiner is great. You can just set yourself up as an expert on like any topic in the world at the Examiner. Right. Yeah, you get people to follow you. People can find your answers by doing search, either in general or at the Examiner. People will follow you. People who are interested will follow you. And then you have someplace to direct people. You say, oh, I write on employment law. Great. So here's where you can see the body of my work. They go to your page at the Examiner, for example. You've got 10 different articles there. Now you're an expert. You got 10 articles. And the Examiner is great because, yeah, if you do get enough traffic, they will pay you. A little bit's money. But then you can say, I'm paid off. Now you're really an authority of people that are actually paying for it, even if it's $8 a day. And it's still a base of expertise. So yes, thank you. The Examiner is a wonderful resource. So, other questions, comments? Yes, please.
So I think this is all great.
Yeah.
But even when you're developing these relationships and you talk to people that you know, this is what I want to do, these are my goals and that sort of thing, I still find that then the conversation becomes, okay, well, send me your resume. So like, what are your thoughts on how that, it seems like you can build all of this.
Right. Right. So the metaphor I like to use is a resume is like a brochure. A really good salesperson never leans too heavily on the brochure. It helps to have one. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's overutilized. And in fact, even if someone says to you, we have the perfect job for you, in fact, we've written it so that only you can get it, you might still have to apply to HR and give them a resume and something that beat machine, right? So you got to have something. So I'm not saying you can totally ignore it. What I'm saying is, if you like the good salesperson, if you give them work product and sample, if you build a reputation and help solve their problems, you've also got the brochure that you can hand them. A good resume is talking points for an interview. It's also something that you can feed into their system. If you create it properly, you can also accompany it by work product. You can say, okay, well, here's my resume. Here's a paper I wrote on this topic. Here are some links to some answers that I provided at yahooanswers.com. And here's a client list of people that I've helped create their employee images, something like that. And that's going to look a lot more impressive than just a two-page resume. So I'm not saying don't have it. I'm just saying don't put all your eggs in that one basket. So excellent question. Thank you.
How do people rely on
Yeah. That's not a 30-second answer. I would say we start with knowing who your ideal clients are, being able to articulate the value that you can give them, and possibly getting a client or two pro bono or at reduced price if need be, you can then refer. But that's a whole hour long talk. Right, so if you've done pro bono work, you can ask that particular client, and you provide a referral, you can provide a testimonial that I can use for my work and put on my website or my LinkedIn page. I love doing this work for you, and if you like the work I've done, you refer me to colleagues, friends at other similar organizations. And maybe here are some words to describe my services that you can use. So basically want to help them, make it as easy for them as possible to refer. Make sense? Yes? Yeah, I'd say in general, go as high up as you can. Obviously, if you have to do just basic word perfect or word processing, so be it. It's a lot better than nothing because it puts you in contact with people while you're there. So I would say yes, I'm a 10, and here's what I'm really looking for. Look for someone that's in your field. Like for example, if you're an accounting person, go work with like accountants or Robert Hack or something like that. Put stuff in your field, talk to other people in your field to see where they can help. And then use the opportunities while you're there to present to employers, hey, here's what I'm really looking for when this job is up. Again, they may or may not know it, but the more people you tell, the more likely they are to get there. One that I can recommend is Resources Global. They're actually not so much a temp firm as a contract consulting firm. So it's not a $12 an hour temp firm. It's more like 30, 40, 50, 60 an hour if you have the high level consulting, IT, HR type skills. You can attempt to make a good wage for it. So, Resources Global. I'm not a big fan. I've seen too many really smart people spend a lot of time cranking out their resume and their cover letter, and they send it to Monster, Career Builder, Indeed, and they never hear. Or they hear back in 10 seconds, and it's like, yeah, we're not interested, thank you. It's a very, I would say, don't spend any time pursuing anything like that. If you put your resume up there, and a description of what you do and all that sort of stuff, and then people find you, that's great. My personal experience a few years back when I was looking for a job actively was I put a resume up on Career Builder, and then I would get like every franchisor, every like independent, commission-only sales position, right? You know, commission-only insurance and financial planning, and you know, for every halfway interesting job that I was notified about, I got like 10 of these sort of like very spammy. So I'm just not a big fan. I like Twitter. I use it a lot. What I've noticed though is like the top 5 to 10% of Twitter users are the ones that get all the benefit. It's one of those things where if you work it a little, you'll get nothing. If you work it a lot, you'll still get nothing. If you work it a ton, you'll get a ton. But it's very much, you know, the very top. But I've met some wonderful people. I've met authors, editors at Harvard Business Review and at conferences, and just meet speakers, coaches, consultants, awesome people through Twitter, because you can send them messages, and it's a great way to meet people. But it's a conversation. It's like once you exchange 10, 20, 30 little exchanges, you're starting to have a friendship and a relationship. It's just a one-off. You know, it's like when you meet someone at a conference, and it's like, hi, you swap cards, and then it goes. You know, it's the start, but if you don't follow through, it never goes anywhere. So I would say with Twitter, if you're really committed and you enjoy it, push it really hard, and you can meet some great people. Otherwise, it's not really worth it. Like 20 to 30. Just literally by just playing with it. You know, I read my Twitter feed. These are cool people. Someone says something, I reply. You know, I make some funny response or something. You just ask people, hey, that's cool. Tell me more. And it becomes a conversation. I'd also recommend having If you have white papers, articles, blog posts, anything like that, tweet that out so people can then go back to your source and see what you're writing. So, yes.
Did you just say that you would not recommend using Career Builder
No, I would not.
as a job search aid?
I would not recommend Career Builder or Monster or any of those. LinkedIn, I would not use their regular, sort of like responding to job ads kind of thing. I would say with LinkedIn, establish a presence in the groups. The best thing for LinkedIn is if you have an organization, you put it in that search bar. So let's say you want to work at Baxter. Put Baxter in that search bar, hit enter, and it will tell you who you know, second and third links at Baxter. And then you pick up the phone or you send an email to your friend John, ask John to introduce you to Mary who works at Baxter, and go have coffee with Mary. That's how I would say use LinkedIn. Don't respond to job ads.
And Indeed, wouldn't send a resume to an Indeed listing?
Personally, I would never send a resume to someone who didn't ask for it. It's sort of the equivalent of junk food. It takes a lot of time, it doesn't pay off, and it prevents you from doing other things that might pay off. So, sort of like if you eat a whole bunch of ice cream before dinner, you won't have dinner. Dinner is making phone calls and having lunch and seeing people and being productive and getting in front of people. Sitting in your basement working on resumes is eating ice cream before dinner. Feels useful, but it's really not. My humble opinion. Yes. Yeah.
If the job is filled.
Yeah. And it sadly probably wasted a whole bunch of your time that you could have been using on something more productive. So that's kind of this is my own little axe to grind. Too many people waste too much time sending out resumes into the void and it doesn't pay off. Or low payoff when you could be doing so many more productive things.
How do you deal with unemployment who wants you to send out 5?
If you're required, do it. Yeah. It's in my opinion, it's not. I mean, if you're required to do this to get your benefits, do what you got to do. Do it as quickly as you can and get back to the real world. Yeah. And I'll write you a note. I'm a PhD. I can write you a doctor's note.
We should probably wrap up, just focusing it going, but David's here and the room is here till 2. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask him, or feel free to mingle and network. We have until 2 o'clock.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very grateful.